Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we are going to take a deep dive into the upcoming super full moon lunar eclipse that's occurring on September 17th or 18th, depending on where you live in the world. So we're going to take a look at each life path number to see how these energies could affect you in the months that follow. Remember that an eclipse opens us up to a storyline or a new chapter that will likely unfold over the coming 6 months to a year. So this is a progressive energy that we'll be working with, but at the time of the eclipse, we should have a pretty good indication of what that storyline is. This particular eclipse, I love the energy that we're going to be working with. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very supportive. So I'm really looking forward to breaking down each life path number. One thing that I wanted to introduce with this moon reading is the animal wisdom messages, but they're going to be a little bit different than what I do for the month ahead. What I wanted to do is for the illumination is offer sort of a mantra word that you can use that's going to be driven by one of the animal spirits that come through. So it's not going to be quite as detailed as the month ahead animal wisdom messages, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to bring those in as well. And what better time to start than a super full moon lunar eclipse? Yay! Before we get into it, if you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. For some reason, with the algorithm, a lot of times the only way you're going to know if I release a video is if you've hit the bell, and then you'll be sure to be notified when that video is released. The other thing is, of course, this is a general forecast. So if you want to take a look at your own personal numerology to get the best idea for how these vibrations and, your own personal numerology are working for you, then the best way to do that is, of course, to have a reading, and you can book some time with me. My information is in the description box below if you choose to do that. Okay, enough housekeeping. Let's get into it. Life path number 3. So you are going to be working with the vibration of the 22202 for this eclipse. This is a beautiful energy. This is a really interesting energy, but it's incredibly beautiful. It's very Piscean in a lot of ways, which in astrology, this eclipse is happening in the sign of Pisces. But there's a silence to this. This is a very contemplative period. And so what I would say about this is to remember that answers, wisdom, clarity, healing, these are all found within the silence. They're not found through necessarily the action or the words or the noise. They're oftentimes found in the in-between, right? In the silence. So what I would suggest is, over the next several months, spend as much time there in that silence as possible. And what I mean by that is be more of the observer, be the listener, right? It's not about, always having to speak or be heard. So much can be achieved and understood through simply observing and listening. And I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for you all to really embrace that. And it could, of course, come in with relationships. And I would say that that's probably going to be a strong focal point for you all because it is strong two energy. So I do think that you will get an opportunity through your relationships to practice this. And so, and of course, relationships, the whole spectrum of relating, doesn't have to be romantic. So this is going to be an opportunity for that. The other thing I would also say is this is an opportunity for you also to gain a greater perspective of self through listening and observing yourself, right? So how do you really truly feel about something? What do you truly want out of something? What is your intuition telling you? What are the thoughts that you keep having? Are they helping or hindering you? So this can be such a beautiful period for really falling more into that softer vibration of observance and listening. The more that you can do that over the next several months, the more you're going to get out of this eclipse, the more that you're going to get out of this. And it can be profound. Again, a lot of clarity, a lot of answers, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of healing or potential for healing can come through this process. It's almost like a walking meditation of sorts. Be very present, of course, in your connections and your interactions, but there's definitely something to be said about listening more and observing more, self and others. I love this energy. It's hard to articulate it and put it into words, like what this vibration truly can hold, but it's such a soft, beautiful, peaceful type of energy that can bring so much into our lives. This vibration can also bring about turning points, and some of it can come from that greater awareness that's sort of achieved from that more contemplative period. But this can bring in turning points. And so with those turning points will likely come the need for some kind of adaptability, to be adaptable to change and circumstances shifting. The other thing I will say about this is because it's also, of course, strong 2 energy here that we're working with, this will likely require a lot of decisions. And so again, I emphasize the need for that observance and listening, because a lot of times when we're making decisions, there's so much noise and there's so much being convoluted that it's hard to really, 1, hear our intuition and that inner guidance, and 2, kind of figure out from all of that noise and all of that like sort of solicited or unsolicited advice, what to do. And in a 2 cycle, it's going to be really important that the decisions that you make feel good for you and align with the direction that you want to be moving in. And through those decisions that you make, will likely bring in those turning points that will require the adaptability. So this all is very like interlaced, this energy that you're going to be working with. But so much of it is really, first and foremost, helping you to get even more in tune with self. And you might be someone who is very in tune with self. But of course, as you know, there's no limit to how much we can understand ourselves, right? Or understand ourselves more. So this is a great opportunity for that. And really where I see the focus here is on, again, like what you want, how you want to express yourself, how you want, what do you want to create, etc. How do you want to show up in relationships? What kind of relationships do you want, etc. And so you could see a great amount of change in your relationships, in the places that you frequent, in your job. All of that is possible now. And so much of that is going to stem from the answers and the clarity that you get from that silence and the wisdom that you extract from that silence. So, and that observation and that listening. Yeah, this is such a beautiful energy. So this is definitely a time to slow down. Definitely a time to slow down. Doesn't mean that you can't initiate things during this time. I think you'll have to initiate some things. I think there will be decisions to be made and you'll have to be sort of firm with that, right? Make those decisions, stand behind them, stick to them, and move forward and persevere. And I love that. But those decisions, that sort of turning point, you'll feel the most aligned with that process when you're listening to yourself, when you're observing. So love this energy. Okay. For you all, you got hawk energy. And so really like your mantra or your words of wisdom for the next several months to kind of remind yourself of is graceful persistence. Graceful persistence. I love it. It's so perfect for this 22 vibration. Graceful persistence. So just continue to give yourself and others grace throughout this journey, and you will get to the destination a lot lighter than where you're starting out from. So beautiful energy, threes. Love it. I hope it's a great eclipse. Take care. Bye for now.